had another comment that was going to, somebody wanted to give a quick update on some virtual events that were going on in another NAC. So the first thing we'll do then, Steve, why don't we go ahead and have you speak. If we do get the police and the fire, we usually defer to them because usually they have something going on and their time is a little more tight than ours. So with that said, unless they join us, and I'll ping Miles and see what's going on, go ahead and start your presentation then if you would. And I cannot hear you, sir.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go, perfect.
All right, and may I share my screen?
Yes, and then for everybody, I think they already saw the note, this is being recorded, so that is the new, and these are being saved now. I believe that they're not worried about the minutes as much, so this will be recorded and can be pulled up as well. So FYI for everybody. Go ahead, Steve.
All right, first may I just ask, can everybody see the graphic that I'm sharing, just to get started? Sounds, Ernie, is that correct?
Yeah.
It is, okay. Okay, great. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity for the YMCA and Beaverton and Leeb Architects to present to you tonight some exciting vision that the YMCA has for further developing this existing facility in the neighborhood and expanding a little bit of their campus. So kind of again of a quick introduction. My name is Steve Sandstrom and I'm with Leeb Architects. We are a small firm based in Portland and we've been practicing for about 30 years. And I'm also a proud Beaverton resident. So just to get started. So I wanted to open up with a slide, kind of the big picture orientation. This view is courtesy of Google Earth. And I think for most of you, you are probably fairly familiar with the site if you live in the neighborhood. And I'll just kind of start by some orientation and kind of what's going on. So again, the big green roof here is the current Beaverton Hoop facility. And it was built during about the mid-90s. And at the same time, this building in the yellow circle was also built about the same time. Interesting enough, it's kind of in the back corner and is actually a separate property. And through the years has always, the only access has been through kind of a shared access through the Beaverton Hoop. But this is the building here that we will be in the yellow circle that we like to be presenting tonight and just share a little bit with you about what's going on. And let's go to the next slide here. Okay, this is kind of a simplified overall site plan, and there's a number of things here that I'd like to share with you. So again, just for orientation's sake, the building here is the Beaverton Hoop off Harvet Court. And the building that we're going to be looking at is this existing warehouse building, which is approximately 13,000 square feet and has been recently purchased by the YMCA and to include into what would kind of become a small campus and expand some of their program facilities. Just also wanted just to remind you and just to point out too that if you look at the zoning map in the far left corner, that graphic in the white is our site here, and it's right at the edge of the zone or the office industrial, and right up above on the bluff is the R7, the residential zone, which is pretty much in this area. So as I mentioned before, the vehicular access to the building, which we are looking at refurbishing, is through the primary entrance and exit point, which already exists for the Beaverton Hoop, also the pedestrian access. So no new access points are being planned in this design concept. Also, I think many of you know that there is a significant landscaping buffer between these two zones. And in addition to that, more or less, at least from this parking level to the upper level, the residential homes are, it's about 20 feet of difference as well. So what we're going to show you is a project which is something not new that's being constructed, but refurbishing of an existing warehouse, basically all the inside of that building. And I also just want to point out too that the campus parking with this design will hold 190 parking stalls.
I'm sorry, Steve, could you say that again? What was the 190 new parking spaces, or?
It will have 190 parking stalls total.
Okay.
Those aren't new.
Okay.
That's what's already there. So this is a ground floor plan of that building, which we've been looking at here in that yellow color, with some the adjacent site information. So the Y is proposing, has a vision here to refurbish this building for kind of a multi-use building for two functions. And one of them would be on the ground floor, and that is a child development center. So as we look at the ground floor, there's kind of a variation of classrooms at the perimeter, and in the interior, kind of an indoor play space. And any of these interior spaces which are facing the parking lot are supportive spaces, whether it be food prep, offices, and a shared main entry in this area, which would help connect the upstairs. And kind of an interesting point about this building, when it was first built in the 90s, the first tenant was actually creative gymnastics. So it was already used at that time as kind of a non-warehouse use, athletics. And I'm not sure when the tenancy changed, but currently it's used by the Beaverton Police Department for a function that's kind of fairly interesting. It's an evidence locker and confiscated property. The Beaverton Police is in the process of moving out to a new location, and more or less the interior of the building is kind of an open campus, or open canvas, so to speak. So other things I'll just want to point out, just the main entry for drop off and pickup. And another thing I like to point out is an outdoor play area, which we are proposing back in this corner. These two lines here don't just illustrate a curb, but they also illustrate what is existing. That is a 7-foot-high concrete retaining wall. And we're working with the city of Beaverton on the appropriate required fencing and screening criteria around this play area. I'd also like to point out that this play area is not for public use. It's for the sole purpose of the development center, and it would only be used and open during the hours of the development center. So as I mentioned, what is a little bit unique to this project is we're going to add a second floor, a new level inside this existing space. And I have another diagram that will help illustrate that. But this would be the second level. And the second level would hold in the program this athletic training facility. It's more or less a fairly open, large space with a mix of some multi-use spaces for smaller group activities, yoga, spin, something of that nature. And in addition to that, like similar to other fitness centers, locker rooms, showers, so forth. Again, this is that kind of main entry point. This would be the parking lot if it was added into this drawing, just kind of for orientation and so forth. Now, one thing also to mention here that this building is fairly limited in amount of openings. Most of it is concrete tilt up. So we will be adding some openings and some punches into the concrete, and we're exploring that right now. So on this slide, I just wanted to just quickly, I guess, illustrate maybe a little bit more simple, just a quick building section, just to give you an idea of the scale. It's about 25 feet, from ground to the lowest part of the roof. It's just a large volume. Again, this purplish color is the new floor that we would be adding inside the building envelope. Fitness center on top, child development center below, adjacent to, I guess, the playground area, and creating openings in the fenestration where possible to help bring in more natural light. This photo was taken fairly recently. It's the interior of the space that is as it is today, and the vision rendering in the bottom right corner is a perspective taken roughly as the same place as the photograph, but at level 2, just to give you a sense of kind of the scale of this fitness center as it kind of huddles just underneath these large steel buttress trusses up in the roof area. So now we're outside, and right now, if you look down in the bottom right corner, this is a photograph of how this building looks today. It's an existing photo, and it's fairly typical warehouse in nature. Not a lot of pedestrian activity, and speaks to what it is. And our mission here and vision with the YMCA is to kind of elevate the aesthetic of the building, appropriate to the function that's inside. And just some of the highlights that we're looking at right now is the main entry. If you can see this area in relation to where this white van is kind of where we're at if we compare these two images together. Really emphasizing the main entry, creating some shelter with a nice canopy, and using some of the great graphics that the YMCA has been branding over the years. And also kind of a fresh look to the building facade paint job, so to speak. Some new openings, as I was mentioning, along the facade. And this is just the last image of our presentation. This is another view from that same facade. This is probably the most significant elevation, as it is the elevation that meets and greets you as you arrive, and are also facing the interior of the site for the interior public kind of parking lot. Again, the arrival area. You might see in the existing photo, there is kind of a service area here. The Beaverton police use it for some fairly large inventory coming in and out of the warehouse. The new purpose here, we're not going to have that need, so we're going to be kind of changing that entry, so to speak. It's still a service entry, but I don't know. I hope this gives you a flavor, a little bit of what we're envisioning. We're very excited about it, and kind of go from there. So that's it, Ernie. Oh, another thing, just to kind of wrap it up here, I like to pass it on to Scott, if he's still here.
Yep.
You are. Okay, I'm sorry. I just couldn't see you in the gallery. And Scott is with the YMCA, and will can elaborate on some more aspects of this project.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I appreciate you presenting this pretty cool proposal. Kelson Bartley is on the call as well. He's the facility director at this location currently. I am the executive director of this location. Also, as Steve noted, as a Beaverton resident, live on Cooper Mountain. So this is a project, obviously, that's close to my heart on a personal and professional level. For those of you that know about the Y, it's an international organization. It's been serving the Portland community for over 150 years. Last October is when we served our 150th year in Portland, which is pretty cool to have that longevity. We have 3 health and wellness centers similar to the one we're proposing here in Beaverton. There's one in Clark County and another one down in Sherwood. We have currently 13 child development centers throughout the Portland metro area, and throughout the state, along with other Ys in the region. We're the largest nonprofit childcare provider in the state of Oregon. Including that, we have before and after school programs that you would take your kids after in all the different districts in the school and on the schools in the area. that's something that I grew up in and participating in as a kid, as both my parents were teachers. So I was in the Y program in the morning and then in the afternoon after school until they could pick me up and be done with that. In terms of this project specifically, the big part we're really trying to help accomplish throughout the state and especially in the Beaverton area is the real need for affordable childcare. On a statewide level, the governor's been really pushing that, and we've been working through grant programs with them. They've committed $5 million to this project already. Washington County has committed another $2.5 million or $250,000 to this project to build it out as well. And the idea of being able to have a campus is one of the really neat things that we want to promote, is that we can be serving an infant or serving a 9-year-old senior taking a class in the same location, bringing the whole community together in one place. And I think that's pretty unique. There might be a few other places around our area that are able to do that, but those are few and far between. It's something we've been a part of this building since, I want to say 2008. And we've always wanted to take the next step and provide more to the community than we have. And traditionally in the Beaverton building that Steve mentioned with the green roof. And I think this is a real fun and unique opportunity to do so. So that's a little bit about who we are as the Y, what we're trying to accomplish with this project, and what we'd like to see down the road.
Okay, thank you, Scott. A couple of questions that we typically have up. The first one is the target audience is daycare. Are you going to have drop-in people in a typical Y scenario like some of the downtown facilities used to be, or is this only for daycare?
So the bottom floor itself is for full daycare. The top floor, you'd be able to go work out, drop your kids off down below, that whole process. So yeah, absolutely, that will be a part of what that new facility will.
Okay, so I guess that would infer then that you could have some drop-in people, or they have to be members of the Y, or how does that work? I guess folks without kids, could they just anybody drop in?
You'd have to be a member of the Y to come drop your kid off and go work out upstairs. There's day passes, but traditionally it's members that use that service. Yeah.
But you could have day folks. I'm just trying to think of the audience that would be able to come in there without kids. If
you wanted to come in there and go to a yoga class, you're absolutely able to do that.
All right. And then the one question we had, which was another one I was going to ask, was Rosemary was asking, what are the hours? And then what are you doing about the noise and the lights? Are you having evening lights as part of the security? And then what, I guess, general noise and hours, because you're going to have kids in there.
Yeah, the Child Development Center itself is usually 6 to 6. Most of the kids are inside at those times in the mornings, the afternoons. We do have the play area outside, which is the main section that the kids could be outside, but that would end at 5 or 6. That'd be the latest. The lights wouldn't, we just went through, and we're going through a study on that. The lights wouldn't be any different than the current lighting we have on the property right now. So did that answer all those questions? Sorry, there were a few of them in there.
Yeah, I think there were, the other one I've heard that we had a couple questions when we had a different facility. I'm trying to think, it was over on BHH off of Laurelwood. I've seen some of the options too with light covers that basically focus the light, any spillage. I know they're moving more to LED, but they move the, I guess they're basically an impervious shade that just kind of reflect the light down and out as opposed to across into I think the residential area behind Royal Woodlands.
We just had all of our lights redone. Kelson, was it last year or the year before? To LED, more energy efficient, both inside and on the exterior of the building, and the parking lot lights as well. And in terms of noise, I know that was brought up as well. We've worked with the surrounding community for a bunch of different things. Some things like to highlight is, overnight, some of the exhaust fans were too loud. We got a call from a neighbor just letting us know that it was bothering them. The next day, we just turned them off overnight. Wasn't an issue. Cantel sweeping came through the parking lot, cleaning at an hour that wasn't, great for the neighbors up the way. Gave us a call. We just changed the service plan. So if there are those issues, we're more than happy to work with the community to solve those and ensure that we're not infringing on their way of life in that area.
Okay. And then is there anything that's, the facility closes at 6?
The back building, the bottom will close at 6. The top might be open later. It could be open till 10. But that's just that's where you'd have the workout area where you could be on a treadmill or taking a class or that kind of stuff.
Okay, but the lighting then, is there any lights that would stay on 24/7 because you're open until 10? Or, I mean, you're not going to turn them off at 10:01?
The parking lot lights, I believe, the ones that point down stay on. They may stay on all night. Kelson, do you know offhand?
Yeah, the current lighting that we have was installed last year, and it's on a sensor. So as soon as it gets dark out, all those lights kick on and they turn back off in the early morning hours.
Okay, and I know that this is only a pre-meeting and it's not part of the public hearing yet, so it's information only. If somebody wanted to reach out to you folks, who would they contact? How would they do that?
I can put my name and phone number and email in the chat. Will that work?
That would be perfect. And then I think we can, I think the chat gets captured as well, but if not, then we'll make sure. I think we found it useful in the past that if there are questions that are coming up about meetings and everything before the public hearing, it gives you a chance to kind of talk about them. I think the big one we had with that was the hookah lounge. They were caught off guard because everybody waited until the public hearing to bring up noise, and they had not done a noise study, so that kind of caught them off guard. So I think it was just always nice now to kind of double check and let folks have an opportunity to reach out to you guys first, so that when you get to public hearing, and a lot of the questions have already been kind of raised and you've got answers.
So I've got my email, my phone number, my cell down there if anybody needs to reach out questions. And then the one thing I'd also like to point out, and Steve mentioned this earlier, is that building right now is being used as a police evidence locker. So there are lots of people who are visiting those facilities to pick up evidence from being arrested.
Right.
I think it's just a little bit, in my mind, a nicer use of that space to be able to serve kids and make sure that the community is getting that service that they need.
Yeah, they don't actually process any people there. That's where they've been storing a lot of the evidence. They've got a couple of facilities around the city that are low key and kind of on the QT, because obviously evidence rooms should not be,
No.
You don't want that to be a high volume area. So
yeah, but people end up walking through and they end up coming in our building now currently asking if they can get my evidence, and we have to direct them to the back.
Right.
To the other facility. Like, yeah, we don't have it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, I saw there's another question from Sarah. The bottom will be open Monday through Friday, 6 to 6, normal business hours, and will be closed on the weekends. The top part of the new building will be open on the weekends. Usually we have reduced hours on Saturdays and Sundays, especially in the summer, just because it's, well, for the most part, it's beautiful and people love to be outside. But that top part of that second building will be open 7 days a week.
And then do you have just, have you done any kind of traffic analysis impact, since that's the only way in? I know that that's come up with Traffic Commission a couple of times with truck parking and a lot of transportation usage for in there. The semis are kind of in there too, but do you have just a count? Have you guys got a projection at all?
Yeah, we have a report done already by Kittleson that'll be ready to present to the city when the proposal goes forward. And yeah, there weren't any major issues in terms of traffic. No, the trips are low enough to not have any impact on the streets or the crossings where the train is on Arctic.
Right. I think I was also kind of just curious about the folks at Royal Woodlands, the difference in what the sound would be from cars that are going now. A couple of occasional cars going now to people coming in and out with kids in the queuing. So curious on that was all.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be. You may have a little bit more traffic in the mornings when the kids get dropped off at 6 or 7 before work in the morning, and potentially in the evenings at 5, 6 when the kids are picked up. But I'd say that would be where there might be a small increase in traffic.
Okay, and then another question was the time frame on the project. When are you going to start and when do you think you'll be done? The hearing hasn't happened yet, so spring is when you start?
Steve, you might be able to help out here in terms of when we could finish it. Originally, we were looking at September of 2021 or fall of 2021 to finish the project. With some of the funding streams and obviously what's gone on with the coronavirus crisis has thrown some funding up in the air a little bit, so it may take slightly longer than that. But the plan would to try to get this open as soon as possible in 2021 to, you know, help serve that need that's out there.
Okay, and then just as a kind of a timeline for everybody, that would put your public hearing though approximately early spring then, or would you get that done this fall?
I think we're moving to try to get it done as soon as possible, the public hearing phase. That after that, if we're not able to build, we may push it out a little bit farther. I think we have two years from that public hearing to be able to build. But we want to move forward to this project. We're doing the best we can to, you know, secure the funding that may have fallen through a little bit through this COVID crisis. So I don't have a definitive answer, but the sooner we can do it, the better is from our perspective.
Okay, but folks could also get on, I guess, a mailing list if they're not sure where to check, so they could send to Scott and make sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you have
All right.
questions, if you want to see the site, any of that stuff, you're more than welcome to reach out and
Excellent.
I can talk to you about it all.
All right, sounds good. I don't see any more questions right now. I think if a couple do come up, you can certainly send them your way and follow up. And again, for everybody that is familiar, and just a reminder for those other folks, that this is just a public information meeting right now. The official public hearing will be where you can speak. You can submit your questions, comments, concerns, support, pretty much everything at the official hearing, which will take place for the Planning Commission. And if you want some information on that, then I would suggest you sign up with Scott and get on that list to find out when that happens. Sometimes pretty quick, and sometimes there's some questions that happen from both the city and the planning department as well. Okay, with that in mind, I don't see any other final questions, so let's go ahead and wrap that part up. I do not see, and maybe I'm missing, I do not see somebody from THPRD. Is that, and Lani, are you back, or is that, are you muted, or is that Miles?
Can you hear me?
I can indeed, yes.
Yay, finally something that works. Yes, so, and I thought I saw THPRD here. Oh,
yes.
yes,
so
you are here. So
I am.
You want to go ahead?
Sure, that sounds great. Hi everyone, my name is Jaspreet. I'm with Tualatin Hills Park and Recreation District, and I serve as the district's community engagement specialist. I've been in this role since March of last year, and I will be the new NAC liaison. So exciting times. I wish this were under better circumstances, but thank you for inviting me to tonight's meeting. Just a few quick updates for you. We have some exciting news. All playgrounds and outdoor play equipment, including basketball courts, are now open immediately. Although some outdoor play equipment has been affected because of the unsafe weather conditions that are going on, including Cooper Mountain Nature Park has been closed as well due to the wildfire that's close by, just 10 miles away from the park. In other reopening news, we've got some two pools, indoor pools that are set to open at the end of this month, Conestoga Recreation and Aquatic Center, as well as the 15-meter pool at the Tualatin Hills Athletic Center. They're set to open at the end of this month. We don't have a definitive date, but we're playing it by ear. In addition to that, we've got a few of our facilities open. Conestoga Dry Side is currently open, has been open since August of 31st. Same for the Athletic Center as well. We've got free fitness in the park that's been going on since last month, end of last month, and our out-of-school care options for families have been expanded and are slated to begin mid next week. The classrooms will feature about 10 stable pods of about 10 kids, and they may grow if safety guidelines permit so. We're working with the Beaverton School District to expand to different locations, and if, depending on if there's additional need for sites, we are open and evaluating that as we move along. In other news, we've got some Talking Walls project ready, which is a public art project. And this is being launched in, or ready to launch. It was planned for a public event for this Sunday, I believe, this Saturday, the 12th, which has been postponed, again, given to unhealthy weather conditions. And this project is in partnership with Color Outside the Lines, which is a public nonprofit, which is a nonprofit based in Portland. And they pair BIPOC artists, which is Black, Indigenous people of color, artists with student artists from the Sunset, the Black Student Union from Sunset High School. They've got some 4 really exciting artwork projects ready to launch, and as soon as the weather permits, we will reschedule that Saturday date. And we've also got some exciting events planning underway, and this is in thanks to the Community Psyche grant that the district has received from Washington County. So staff are hard at work at scheduling, and we're hoping to post the events calendar as and when things move very quickly. And in some cases, we've had, in past years, we've had months and months to plan these events. And at this time, we have sometimes days to plan and then reschedule as things change. The Welcoming Walk, which was planned for this Sunday as well, has also been postponed, again, given the weather conditions. And in other reopening news, I don't think I mentioned this. The Tennis Center, which is located on Walker Road, is set to open next week on September 14th as well. All the facilities that are open, there are no drop-in options, but online reservations are open. So folks can register through the online portal and then use the for hour-and-a-half blocks at a time. Any questions? I know I threw a lot of information at you, but any questions so far?
I don't see any. Thank you, though. Appreciate all the updates. It's a lot of information. So, Harmon Swim Center is going to open, you said, later in the month. And then is Kelly going to be around, or is she?
No, Harmon, it actually is not opening this year.
Okay.
The only 2 that are opening are the 50-meter pool at Tualatin Hills, and then the Conestoga Recreation.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, all right. That's what
2.
it was. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we did have one question. Can you share your contact information just in case they can have any follow-up questions about that, and also about THPRD, I think where to find the schedules as well.
Absolutely. So I'm typing my contact information in the chat as I speak.
And were there any other questions from anyone? Okay, well, we're wrapping that up. Lani, I was going to let you talk about the city updates, and then also I think the next part would be the public comments portion. Bridget wanted to make a comment about from VOS for the virtual pets. And then I believe one step back so everybody knows that I forgot about the THPRD during the, getting those confused, TVF&R during the virtual meetings is releasing a monthly update, and that is can be viewed on the TVF&R website, so they actually do not attend. I think trying to get that scheduled has been a bit of a handful. And then also the police department, our contact, I'm guessing is pretty busy right now. So those two in mind. I should have mentioned that with I forgot about the TBF&R. That information now, his monthly update from the chief is pretty informative. They've got some pretty good full video on there, and then it's posted on YouTube as well, so you can subscribe to that channel and get some updates on that. Because I think we were talking about how to post and repost in here, and I'm not sure that that's going to work, so we can recap some of their information. But I think for those that are interested, watching on YouTube is a good way to go as well. So Lani, why don't you give us some updates, and then I think if we're ready with the public comments, we need to let Birgit speak, and I think you have to promote her up after you're done.
Okay, happy to do that. Hi, I'm Lani Parr. I'm with the City of Beaverton, the Neighborhood Program Manager, and just a few quick updates. On the community listening sessions, for those of you not familiar with that, the city has hired a racial equity consultant to support development of listening and doing dialogue sessions between the community and the city focused on policing and public safety. And so to kick off this process, a series of 90-minute conversations for community organizations to participate are being held, and the first one had kicked off August 19th. So that's currently in the process. And to give you just a little bit more background on this, in June, the City Council had passed a resolution denouncing systemic racism and committed to eliminate racism in city structures and practices, and to work towards the elimination of institutional racism in our community, and to improve the lived experience of all peoples of color. And then during the summer, Council held 4 work sessions to better understand the current police policies and practices. They wanted to get a better understanding of what we were currently using. And then outcomes are expected to include the development of a framework to move forward in understanding the city's role in residents' experiences around policing, public safety, health, race, and accountability, as well as research and come up with proposed changes to city policies that would address systemic racism. This consultant that the city's hired has held the series of meetings with these invited individuals and community groups without city staff or officials present, and that's to make people be able to talk real candidly. And this is helping to better understand the needs, backgrounds, and desired outcomes. So we've got more information online if you want to check more details out. It's beavertonoregon.gov/beheard. And as we have more updates, we'll be putting our information on that page there. And then the second item is our Beaverton Welcoming Week. This is our 6th year of doing Welcoming Week, and it's going to kick off September 12th through the 20th under the theme of creating home together. And for those of you not familiar with what Welcoming Week is all about, it's an annual series of events that brings together immigrants, refugees, and U.S.-born residents to help raise awareness of the benefits of welcoming everyone. And this year, the city is proud to partner with 8 community organizations through grants that will support virtual and in-person opportunities for cultural exchange. And these events will include storytelling, music and cultural celebrations, dance and cooking workshops, small business support, and so much more. And we have everything about these events and the calendar on our webpage, and that's beavertonoregon.gov/welcoming-week. And if you haven't checked this out before, it really is fun. I've participated in some of the past cooking classes, and it was really a great experience. And then lastly, the new city charter, that was what was adopted on the May ballot by the community. Beaverton's new city charter will actually become operational January 1st of the new year. And it's really going to change the city structure and form of government. So a few things about that, just so that you feel up to speed of what's happening behind the scenes as we get prepared for that. We have a series of activities to start the implementation underway, such as preparing for the November election. We have that open city council seat. So we added one more position to city council. That's position number 6. And so we've got 3 candidates running for that position. And then we're also working on community engagement to support the city manager recruitment. And then hiring the interim city manager to support the transition is being coordinated with support from an outside firm for professional recruitment services to really ensure that we have best practices during the hiring process, such as proceeding with a diversity, equity, and inclusion lens. And we also have the development of the interim city manager candidate profile, which we're expecting to conclude by September, followed by the job posting, then with interviews and selection that will result in a December appointment in December with a start date January 1st of the new year. And the appointment of a regular city manager is expected to be completed the first half of next year after community and staff engagement takes place. And we really want to stress that we want the community to be involved in that process. So we definitely have a lot more details about this that you can check out on our webpage, and it's beavertonoregon.gov/charter. And we'll be adding things each week to that. So just check on that periodically. And I guess since Rick isn't on here tonight, he's our Beaverton Committee for Community Involvement board rep. BCCI is working on the voters forum for the city, and that date is October 14th at 7 o'clock. It's going to be a virtual event, and it will feature the mayor's race, the new city council seat, and the Washington County Board of Commissioners District 1 seat. And one thing that if Rick were here tonight, he would have asked all of you is, do you have any great questions for the candidates? We're trying to get those questions submitted early. Our question deadline will be October 7th, but we definitely would love to have some come directly from the neighborhood. And if you have any, go ahead and maybe send them in to Ernie, or you can send them in to me, and I'll put my contact information in the chat here so you have that. And then I guess, lastly, if you wanted a few more details about, there were quite a few updates today on the wildfires. Would that be helpful to hear that, or have you felt like you've gotten enough details from the news? What's your thoughts? Would you like a few more tidbits on that? Yeah, okay. So just a few things that some of the city Beaverton staff, they participated in the Washington County call this afternoon to stay abreast on the wildfire updates. And I guess the first thing is, obviously you probably know about the air quality isn't so good, and they don't expect it to get better through the weekend. So keep that in mind with your activities. And then also just keeping in mind that, you know, that's on top of the COVID-19 guidelines. And so you still need to continue to wear your face coverings, but that's still not going to protect you from the poor air quality. They also just talked about, you know, there's a lot of desire right now to help give donations, and, you know, with the evacuation shelter that also includes Mountainside High School, people are wanting to go drop things off, and that would really be overwhelming. So we're just recommending that if you want to help, donate to the Red Cross. They really are, you know, they're equipped to adapt to deal with all the requests as they come in and can manage that, whereas all the different sites that will be helping with evacuations and the shelters could not handle that type of coordination. And then if you haven't already, I think the best thing is if you'd like to have the latest updates about the fires, you can go ahead and sign up online to get the latest updates of how you're impacted if you're going to be in any evacuation zone. And so if you're not familiar with that, let's see here. You can sign up at wccca.com/public alerts for your Washington County alerts. And so, so hopefully that just gives you a few good tips to be thinking about. I know that it sounds like more than about around 500,000 people have been evacuated across the state. So definitely has been a significant disaster in our state, and our firefighters and emergency response teams are working hard to keep everyone safe. And, you know, our 911 calls and non-emergency calls are going through the roof. So just be mindful about, you know, how and when those calls are placed so that we don't continue to overwhelm the system. That's all I've got. So are there any questions? All right, thanks. And I'll put my contact info in the chat.
There we go. I think when I gave host back to Miles, it didn't do co-host. So when I muted so I could be quiet for you, it went away. I think the last thing, well, we've got two things. We need to have the bank information, and then we need to do the treasurer's report, and then we need to, so what do we do on the minutes now? Because if we're doing the recording, we don't actually have any minutes to approve anymore. Or
it would still be good to have, you know, to have minutes, an outline of them.
Okay, I don't think that. Okay. I see Tracy as I didn't think that. So do we have a? Did we get a copy posted? Because I didn't see an agenda link and I didn't look at the other.
The agenda and minutes were sent out to the distribution list.
Okay, then I missed that. So my apologies on that one, everybody. Sheri Struk, can you speak real quick? Is there any updates to our treasury report over this summer?
Nothing really, nothing significant. Our dividend is always 0.15%, which does not add much to our overall total.
Okay.
So I think there was 72 cents for the month of August, for example. So nothing else to report.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, so the last bit of business then, I think, is that we do need to vote on the minutes of the last thing. So Sheri, Tracy, Sheri would give us a quorum. So if you three are comfortable voting, I didn't look at them, so I thought that we were going to be able to use the recording. So that was a fail on my part. So I would need to abstain. So,
I move to approve the minutes as written.
Okay, so Sheri made a motion to approve. Second. Take a hand wave or a chat point.
Can I second my own minutes, or is that not allowed?
Nope, that is allowed. You are a member.
Second?
All right, and then all those in favor? There's a yay. Oh, I think we're supposed to do a roll call. Sheri, yes, and then the other Sheri. Where'd she go?
Yes, if that's I'm sure if I'm the Sheri you're looking for.
More.
So she has a hand up in the chat.
Okay, perfect. All right, so then the motion would pass 3-0 with 1 abstain. And we are good on that. All right, so that takes care of all our business housekeeping. I think the last thing then is the public comments. And real quick, Birgit wanted to say something about one of the NAC processes they're doing. So Lani, if you could promote or allow her to speak, then we can do that. And I believe we'll be done. And you may have to make her.
Made her a panelist, so.
And then you can, and then Miles was doing a co-host, I think was the only way to allow, unless you unmute her.
Oh, okay.
I think you can right click, same as you did to me, and right click and allow
I'm
her to
here.
speak.
I think, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. So that was very scary because suddenly you disappear. You cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. Do you not
I
want
think
to
there's
see
your,
me?
I'm gonna
you're
make
just
you.
a visitor.
Yeah, hold on a sec. I'm gonna make you a co-host, and that should
That
solve
would
it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Don't go too crazy though.
I actually thought you would be talking about this too, but okay. Hi guys. I'm gonna do a quick share of my presentation. It will not take too much time. Oh, wrong screen. Those are my family. It's my family. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. So it's actually again, it didn't take the right one. I don't get it. Hold on, just.
That's fine. You can always just run through, and we can post that up, or you can link to. It's on your the NAC webpage.
No. Now you should be seeing it. Can you see it? No, wrong one. I don't get it.
I'm seeing it.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So it's actually the Greenway NAC plus the which one is the other one? South Beaverton, and we also have some support from the Southwest neighbors and Sexton or Highland. So anyway, what we are doing is we are doing a COVID pet cup and it can be a virtual pet walk run activity. And if you posted something on the parade already, you can post the same video also on our website. Miles has set that up. And so options for participation is the virtual 1K, 5K walk. You can post it, and when you enter and register, we will, you basically go into a drawing for prizes that we are getting. And you can also post videos or pictures for challenges like pet trick video or look-alike or costume photo of your pets, and cats are included, or rabbits or rats or whatever, chickens, whatever you have. And then you can also participate if you don't have a pet, or you can rent one, or you can go to give a donation to any animal rescue charity here in the area. We will list some of those. And our goals are to create community, be flexible and inclusive, and this is family oriented, because obviously the whole family can do this. And there it also pushes some pet awareness. And we are starting with it in the week of the 20th of September, and it goes through the 18th of October. So for 4 weeks, you can post things. And this is in conjunction with all of these things. Particularly, I want to point out here the Dogs and Politics Day. And it can be done anywhere, neighborhood parks and so on. Hopefully the smoke is going to subside. And that's really what we have now. You will also probably, I'm not sure if your NAC will get a postcard, but we are trying to send out as many postcards and then as we can, and we are posting this out for Beaverton. So all we want from you is spread the word, come to the virtual sites. There will be Facebook and also on the Beaverton City side. And if you want to help with anything, or you have some ideas on more posting, like what we are really looking for is somebody who can help us with the younger crowd that posts to Instagram or something. If somebody can do that, that would be wonderful. So we just want to really spread the word, because we think it really makes a difference that we are doing this here in Beaverton, and it's free. And also one other little thing is we are buying the gift certificates and the prizes because we don't want to stress the businesses in Beaverton, and that's what we're going to use the matching grant money for and such things, because we do want to really make this a community event that really helps and promotes everybody here. So any questions?
Do you, where's the link that they would sign up?
I
Is it
don't
on
have
your
that
website?
link. It's on the, it will be on the website. Miles didn't send it to me. I'm like, no.
Okay.
And I can also send it to you, so then you can spread it to the other people if that's okay.
Right. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, let
Okay.
me stop sharing.
I think with that then, we've got all our other business taken care of. Lani, was there anything else then? We did not have the Beaverton Police. I assume they're pretty tied up and busy right now, so no other worries on that. Appreciate all the time and everything the city's helping with as well. I believe that, yes.
There was something in the agenda about a banking change.
I didn't see, unless it was a last minute email, I didn't see a.
It was included in the item with the treasurer's report, and I didn't know anything about a banking change.
I saw that too, and I wondered if it just meant like a change in the balance or something. But yeah, I'm not aware of any banking change. And if you're not, then I
No,
assume there wasn't one.
So
No.
which email was that then?
that was the
On the
agenda.
agenda.
Lani, do you know anything about that?
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
We'll have to ask. Captain Miles about that then, because that was the email that he sent out, right?
I just saw it on the city website. That's where I checked out the agenda and the minutes, and it was just on that agenda from this, that was on the city's website.
That's where I saw it as well.
Banking changes, yeah. I wonder if some of the folks have changed over the summer or there was something like that. That is true about, okay, and then one last thing on there, looking at that was that we would typically take nominations now for officers for 2020 and then 2020, 2021, and that would begin, the vote would actually happen in October to match the other NAC. So keep that in mind, residents. I think that counts for all of our other folks too. So city, where's my, oh, wrong one here. Apologies. Let me get back. So Scott and you folks, you could be a NAC member, board member at your community NAC. So keep that in mind. Nomination. What's that?
As we just obviously transferred the ownership rights from the old property owners to the YMCA, will we be getting invites to these meetings moving forward? Do you know how that process would work?
You would actually sign up for the news. You would get them at the NAC level, and then you can sign up for each NAC. So you can do that individually as the business, and then you as a resident would be able to get yours for, I think you said Cooper Mountain or Sexton.
Yeah.
You could get that as well, and then you would actually, because it's Beaverton resident, and you are eligible for any boards and commissions following those guidelines as well. The boards and commissions at the city level are open to anybody in the area, but the NAC board members, you have to be a resident of the NAC. But as a business or resident, yeah, you can sign up and get information from any of the NACs that you want. So you can certainly sign up to ours as well, and you'll get the email and the minutes as well.
Terrific, thank you.
You bet. Okay, I think with that then, Lani, was there anything else? Next month we'll have anything, and then I think, well, we'll talk in the meantime about officers and candidates and how we're going to handle that part. So anybody keep your questions together and go with that. Are there any final questions? Comments? Oh, yes, so that was old business. New business would be the final step. All right. I'd like to thank everybody for the time. I appreciate it. This is definitely a learning experience, I think, for everybody trying to do the virtual piece. So thanks for your patience getting this started. And appreciate Steve, you guys, and Scott, everybody coming through and remaining for the whole meeting. A lot of times it's kind of interesting. We've had people do a presentation, and as soon as they're done, they immediately fold up their boards and walk out the door. So much appreciate you guys hung out and bared with us and got some information as well. So thank you very much. All right, with that, Lani, I guess we end the recording. Is there anything else we need to do to close out the meeting?
I think it's official wrap, and I'll stop the recording.
All right, then we are officially adjourned. We'll see everybody next month, second Thursday. All right, see you then.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Everybody wave goodbye.
Bye.